So we come to the third question, which to some people is, have you heard the word chemtrails? Well, I know, you're my son, I know that you know full well there are chemtrails, so could you give me your thoughts on them, whatever?
Okay, what I know as fact is, because I've been, if you've been my mum, you'll know that ever since a very, very, very young age I've always been passionate about aeroplanes. I used to love watching aeroplanes take off and land and fly. So I've always looked to the skies, I've always looked at aeroplanes wherever I am in the world, and I've always watched the contrails disappear away over the years. But I know for a fact that over the last 5 years or so, possibly more, that the vapour trails have been persistent. I prefer using the phrase persistent contrails.
Yeah.
Because
it's less emotive, yeah.
It's less emotive. I believe that these days a lot of emotive subjects get given banners and get manipulated. Even the very phrase conspiracy theory itself is an emotive banner. But yeah, persistent contrails I cannot argue with, because I see it with my own eyes. I've got time-lapse video footage of skies where I can see planes fly along, not leaving a persistent contrail, and then when any planes hit a certain patch, their trails remain consistent, suggesting there is something there. It could be just a dust cloud in some circumstances from pollution. But yeah, and that combined with the fact that many reports from rangers about trees dying and environmental levels of aluminium and barium being massively higher than safe limits. And with the many existing patents for geo-engineering technology involving laminar spiral jet technology and other similar wonderful phrases. But yeah, there's no doubt about it that there is some chemtrailing going on, to use your phrase, within this world. As to why they're doing it, I'm not completely certain, although when I found out about the weather futures market and that there's billions of pounds every year gambled on what the weather's going to be, because a weather deviation, a temperature deviation from plus or minus 16 degrees means that people use more power. So there to me is a financial incentive to engineering the weather, because if it's at 16 degrees people don't use heating or air conditioning. If it's hot, air conditioning goes on. If it's cold, the heating goes on. It's better for energy, it makes difference to people's income, i.e. the energy companies. So yes, I have no doubt that these things are being manipulated. But again, I think chemtrails is another emotive subject that, like many subjects, there are people planted within that movement to make it look more ridiculous. The same thing happened with 911, various other things. Media is manipulated constantly. Just a brief answer there.
This one is one that really interests me particularly, actually. Have you ever heard of chemtrails? Does the word mean anything to you?
It means them things you see in the sky. That's all.
Yeah?
Nothing else.
Are you aware of the difference between chemtrails and contrails?
No. Don't know what the difference is. What are contrails?
Well, contrails, jet planes have always created contrails. It's water vapour.
Can you tell the difference looking at them then?
Yes.
Can you?
Chemtrails actually stay in the sky for a long time.
Oh yeah.
And they gradually spread till they cover the sky in a haze. I notice them a lot here. And it's really interesting to me. I do very sincerely thank you for answering these questions, Dawn.
I notice them, they take a long time to fade. Well, what are they? Are they
They're chemtrails. And I will send you some links on Facebook if you're interested, because it has been proved that they're spraying all sorts of stuff. Aluminium, bromide, all sorts.
But you only see them on fine days. You only see them when there's a clear sky, don't you?
Yes, to a degree. I have noticed them between the clouds when there are gaps in the clouds. I've seen them at night a lot.
Have you?
Yes.
Mind you, I never look at night. What,
No.
when it's dark?
Yes.
I never sort of look. I never sort of look up. I look down because I fall over.
No, you see, once
No,
you...
I will have a look up and see.
I'd be really interested
Yeah.
to see what you notice.
I don't often go out at night, but when I'm, you know, Tesco's on a Thursday night, I would. I'll have a look up and see if I see anything. When you turn that off, I tell you about what we used to sit in the summer. We used to sit out the front here and look at all the things up in the sky, me and Lank.
Yeah.
And Greg that lived next door.
And what did you notice?
Well, little things moving around. What were they? And Lank used to say, there's one over there.
Well, that's really
But every
interesting.
time I looked, it had gone. I was too slow.
Yeah. You see, that's there's all sorts of theories as to why they're spraying, from weather modification, because they can change the weather with it, but also there are theories that there is stuff going on up there that they don't want us to see. So that actually is really interesting that you say that about seeing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blooming
Me
interesting
and you
world.
sit out there in the summer with our gin and tonic and we'll see more than contrails and whatever the other thing is.
Chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Right, chemtrails are definitely happening. There's no two ways about that. It's actually written in legal terms as well. It's geo-engineering. You talk about chemtrails, people that have heard about that are not interested will just think conspiracy theory notes. But if you look at government with geo-engineering, it's happening. But why are they doing it? It's like, are they doing it on the reasons of putting people in fear?
Hi man, how are you keeping?
Pretty damn good.
Good to see you.
And how's
Domo.
you?
I'm good man. I went home to Ireland for a time.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, man,
Now, give me 2 seconds, I'll just
No
finish
bother.
this.
Good to see you, Domo.
But you're down here for the day,
I'm down here for the day, bro. Good to see you, man.
Right, do you want to do that last question again?
Well, just no.
No, okay. Right, yeah, so chemtrails are definitely happening, but for the reason or the theory why they're happening, there's so many theories. Like weather modification, to hide UFO activity, block out the sun, climate change, all sorts of things. Barium and aluminium's in it and they're falling to the earth, to do with Agenda 21, Codex Alimentarius, which is all about eventually depopulation. But I don't go for all these theories. I think maybe the government have set all this up to put people in fear, because it goes back to resonance once again. If we're put in fear, then we're not operating in the now, so therefore we are controlled, because we are thinking about our problems, which come from two places that don't even exist, the past and the future. So if you stay in the now, then like, what problems do you have?
Have you heard of chemtrails? Well, I actually know you have.
I have, yes.
I just wonder if you've got anything to say on the subject, how you feel about them, whatever.
But I'm sort of aware that it's happening. I've sort of seen many different videos and heard many different theories and ideas about why and what it is. But I have no idea what to do about it.
How does it make you feel when you see them?
Actually a little bit sad, because I can remember what skies used to look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also looking at photographs of Portugal particularly, and remembering, you know, the sort of the brilliance of the light and the sun, and actually seeing there's a sort of, you know, greyness, sort of, you know, it's the sunlight is filtered. I mean, also, you know, there are. I did watch an interesting, well, it wasn't a video, it was actually a recording, a very intelligent scientist person talking about them. Sort of gathered lots of information. And one of the things he was talking about was just sort of generally the fact that, you know, at the moment we're going through a mass extinction on this planet. I think his belief was that it was an unintelligent attempt to change something that's happening, and actually his idea was that if it was left alone, if the climate was actually left alone, rather than sort of like them attempting to change what's happening, that we would have a better chance of survival, basically.
Yeah, there's a YouTube channel, Suspicious Observers. I recommend that everybody watch him, because it's the changes that are going on aren't only affecting this planet, it's kind of like this whole corner of the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of the effect on, like, life on the planet, all of humanity, it's in some ways for me too big to even begin to contemplate. I can see and acknowledge that actually all creatures, human beings included, and plants and all that stuff, it is a limited lifespan for all of us anyway. But the idea of it all being gone, that's just...
Wow.
But then, you know, it does appear to be that everything has its lifespan.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. And this is where I love saying this bit, because everyone gets the wrong idea. This is where I want to talk to you about the C word. But not that one.
What, cauliflower?
Good answer. No, chemtrails.
All right. Okay.
So, are you aware of chemtrails? What do you notice them? Just your thoughts on them.
I haven't noticed any, like, in the sky, really. Obviously I see planes go over, because you know, I'm living on the edge of London, so Gatwick's not far and Heathrow's not far the other way. So I see trails from planes, but I haven't noticed anything like filling the skies. But then I haven't particularly looked either. And I'm not going outside to look, oh look, there they are. But then saying that, it's winter most of the time, the sky's covered over anyway with cloud. And just noticed the sun's come out about 5 minutes ago, which is really unusual. But yeah, I think I've been too much of a hermit in here for the last, since I was away last, which was just before Christmas.
Yeah.
So in that, I was in South Africa just before Christmas, and the skies are beautifully clear. Then that was Cape Town. But then my friend there was concerned about it, and they reckon that there's a problem down there for definite. But I didn't witness it myself, even when I was led in a swimming pool, looking up, open air.
Oh, wow.
But I haven't experienced it personally, first hand. But obviously I've seen things on the internet posted. I've seen you all posting.
have to care.
So what do you think of the chemtrail story then, Becky?
What do I think of the chemtrail story? It's disgusting.
Yeah.
They should not be spraying us with yucky stuff to make us ill, to make money.
Do you think that's what it's for, to make money?
Probably.
You don't think it's about weather modification?
Possibly as well, but is that not because they're betting on the weather so they can make money out of it?
He needs the ball!
Possibly. There are many possibilities.
I don't know. I like to think of them as kisses from my government.
Yes, me too. Kisses in the sky. I love saying this bit because I'm naughty. I want to ask you about the C word. But not that. I like doing that to people. Not that C word, darling. Chemtrails.
Well, I don't know very much about them, and the only things I've read was really from that post of yours the other week. And I personally haven't got into looking into it, only I did a little bit on it. The bottom line, if I'm really, really honest, is I don't care. It's not that I don't care, but somewhere I think in the bigger picture, I don't know enough about it, and in my reality, it's not something I'm pursuing to find out more about. So I don't have, I really don't know enough about the story to actually make a qualified answer about what I think. And what I think is, I don't want to think very much about it at this time because it's not in my reality.
Cool. You haven't noticed them over where you...
Here. We don't have them here.
Do you mind if I say where you are? I don't know exactly, just which part of the world.
Pyrenees Oriental in France.
Yeah. Thank you. Just because, you know, for other people's interest. Okay. If I say to you the word chemtrails, does that word mean anything to you?
I've seen stuff on the internet and YouTube films, very peculiar exhaust gases, something peculiar coming out the back of jet aircraft. Photographs of vapour trails in the sky that don't look like ordinary vapour trails. More than that I can't say.
Do you ever notice them when you're out and about?
No.
The white lines in the sky?
I can't say that I ever have. I don't know if I'd even... I'm not attuned to looking for them. You know, it would be, you know, like white fluffy bits in the sky, and I don't really pay any attention.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
The C word. I like what you said about calling them persistent vapour trails.
Yeah, or contrails.
Contrails.
Yeah.
Persistent contrails. Well, when my friend Nand first started talking to me about chemtrails, I sort of thought, well, I agree with you on loads of stuff, darling, but, you know, I'm not so sure about this one. Why would anybody be spraying stuff on us when they're spraying it on themselves? And then I started watching, really watching. And it enraged me, it upset me, it puzzles me. I have different theories in different times as to what the reason is, the whole geo-engineering, and everyone should watch Why in the World Are They Spraying? It's on YouTube. Why in the world are they spraying? That is the question that drives me absolutely potty. I see them virtually every day over where I live in Buckinghamshire. We'll have a beautiful, beautiful clear day, beautiful blue skies. We've had some lovely days, and then they start. And before you know it, there's a crisscross. Oh, it was lovely the other day. They made an A just for me in the sky, A for Ashra.
No, that's from me.
Oh, no, Albert says it's for him. And then the haze spreads, and then after that, big clouds come in. It's like as if whatever the haze is pulling in big clouds, and then it's back to grey again. And I do notice that it's quite often later in the day, and it seems that they start over the area of sky where the sun is, you know, so by then it's the west. I don't know the relevance of this at all, I have no idea, it's just my observation. It's like as if they want to obscure that part first. And you only have to look at the state of the world weather. It's completely messed up. I just want to say, give us back our skies. Yeah. Chemtrails, are you aware of them?
Yes.
And any thoughts you might have on them?
The degrees and the lengths that are being gone to by, shall I say, the powers that be to control our lives in any way possible, whether it's through the nuclear industry, whether it's through inoculations, whether it's through chemtrails. They're all part and parcel of the... And this is where, you know, most people would part ways with me, because they'll go, oh no, not another conspiracy theorist, oh help, the woman's balmy. Well, yes, maybe I am, but I'm absolutely convinced that the... And I say the powers that be, no, I mean the banks and the governments.
Yes, actually, my friend Nand and I like to affirm the fact that they are the powers that were.
Ah, yes. Okay, yes, much better, because they are losing.
Yes.
You know, they've won so many battles and they've started so many wars, but our battle is not to do with guns and knives and suppression. Our battle is getting out of the prison that they keep trying to put us in, with their chemtrails and their, you know, things like Fukushima, things like nuke spills all over the world, things like unsafe nuclear power stations in China. There's about 4 that are ready to collapse. There are so many things that are being controlled that we are now seeing through, and we're taking down the walls. I actually really, really, really believe that, you know. And if I sound like a zealot, I'm not, because I'm not working for anything that's malign. I'm working for my truth, and my truth is to do with we are one, which is your first question. Finito.